Thanks so much for staying on. I am Pius Kojobaka. On to our very first story, government has announced that it has finally reached a memorandum of understanding with its official creditor committee, which has been signed by all participating creditor countries. This, according to the finance minister, Dr. Tuforsen, gives the country a debt relief of $2.8 billion. Speaking at a press conference, Dr. Forsen said the agreed terms will be implemented through bilateral engagements with each member committee. More in this report.
According to Dr. Forsen, this particular process was being commenced by the former finance minister, that is Dr. Amin Adam. Now, as part of Ghana's IMF program, there are certain thresholds Ghana is supposed to meet, and one of them is actually having its debt to GDP ratio being reduced to beneath some 55% by 2025. Dr. Tuforsen said the government will continue to work closely with these official creditors committee to, sign the agreement anytime soon.
One of the key elements of the debt restructuring was the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding by the Official Creditors Committee for Ghana. The former Minister of Finance, the Honorable Mohammed Amin Adam, commenced the process for the signing of the MOU by individual members of the Official Creditors Committee in June 2024. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce that following His Excellency the President's directive, we have made significant progress in Ghana's external debt restructuring. On the 17th of January 2025, I, in my capacity as Minister of Finance designate, met with Ghana's advisors and the technical team of the Ministry of Finance to discuss the state of affairs, create a timeline, and outline action plan for implementation. Since then, the Ministry of Finance team have worked tirelessly to advance the President's directive. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks a significant milestone from the team, and we are pleased to inform all Ghanaians that the Memorandum of Understanding, reached with the Official Creditors Committee last June, has now been fully signed by all 25 participating creditors countries. We are grateful for the Official Creditors Committee's members, their commitment, and particularly the committee's co-chair, China and France, for their support and assistance to Ghana throughout this process.
According to Finance Minister Dr. Tuforsen, government is working assiduously to cut down expenditure and also to make sure that all key macroeconomic indicators are being put in proper order. For Joy Business, James Eshen.
Let's have a conversation on the back of this development. Joining us via Zoom is economist Professor Lord Mensah. Thanks so much, sir, for agreeing to speak to us on Business Live. And first of all, I want to know how significant, this $2.86 billion Ghana has been able to save after, reaching an MOU with its OCC.
Yeah, it is significant in a sense that an economy that was under pressure as a result of, its debt service, having this financial freedom, let me put it that way, will help us, to channel these funds to sectors that, requires more investment and requires, point where the country can grow easily. So from where I sit, it is very, very significant in terms of the money that is involved. Again, we also have to, appreciate that once we have this as more or less indirect inflows, it gives the government some kind of free space in terms of financial needs. And as a result of that, government can reduce its financial needs by reading a budget with a reduced budget deficit, which will build up into, interest rate structures and all those. So government will reduce its borrowing on a local market, and that will help us, rebuild or correct the yield curve. And if I say correction of the yield curve, what I mean is that, interest rate structures that has been short-term, oriented, can now be moved to medium term, if I may put it. So it's a signal. It gives investor confidence. Again, it shows that if Ghana owes you, going forward, you have no cause to worry, because definitely there will be an agreement that will help you to, will help the country to pay its debt. So from where I sit, it's a good signal. And, for both international and then local market, it sends a good signal to the investor.
Even before we touch on the sectors you talked about, I guess this is going to have a great impact, like you're saying, on the economy largely, especially as government seeks to cut wasteful expenditure while ensuring fiscal prudence, right?
Yes. In that regard, that is, how it's supposed to be, because it comes to filling, more or less the government needs of funds. And by so doing, it will reduce, government borrowing from the local market. And businesses will have, access to funds, going forward. Let me, emphasize on that. So it's a good signal, let me put it that way.
All right.
And also, government is going to have a briefing space, to divert, funds into productive sectors of the economy. So, it can create jobs here and there.
All right, so what would be your advice when it comes to the utilization of the savings that we've made so far? Any profitable areas or investments areas you would want to touch on?
Well, let me be careful on this. These are expected savings. They are not realized savings. It's not money sitting down to say that Ghana has that 8-point-something billion. But then if we play our cards very well, these are funds that were supposed to, service debt. So going forward, if we make that money, of course, there are several areas that we may have to look at when it comes to government expenditure to make sure that Ghanaians get satisfied as promised by the NDC administration.
And like you rightly mentioned, this will definitely translate into improving our credit ratings and, of course, the investor community, right?
Yes, obviously. It tells you that it doesn't matter how long your debt stays with Ghana, obviously the debt will be paid. So in itself, it's kind of investor confidence boosting. And from where I sit, it will continue to help us engage with the creditor. And in some cases, after some time, we can still go for more money from the international market. That's how I say it.
All right. Quickly before you go, we are learning Ghana has been able to save some $1.4 billion since it started exporting oil in commercial quantities. I don't know what you make of this.
Yes, of course. We need money as a country. And if you have a natural resource that is bringing in an inflow, obviously it improves on our international reserves. And that will call for, stability of our currency going forward. So I think it will improve on our balance of payments, and that will be the way forward to keep our currency stable.
Well, some have argued. Okay, you continue.
We know the pass-through effect of the currency. Once it gets destabilized, it's an import-driven economy, and obviously we import inflation from other countries. So if the currency gets stable, it has a way of building up into stability in prices, and that is what we all need. To make sure that whatever we earn, from our daily works and then monthly works, we should be able to, have the purchasing power that goes with it.
So some have argued that looking at the figure we are recording, $1.4 billion is woefully inadequate because looking at the years we've been exporting oil, we shouldn't be getting that amount.
Well, you should know the type of oil we're exploring. Our oil is not, onshore, and our stake in it is not as much as, the entire business. It's Ghana's interest in the oil that we're exploring. It's just something, mere because of the, the kind of technology that requires to, and the financing involved, that is required to mine, deep oil like what we have. So it's quite financial intensive and we couldn't commit more. So the financier is taking a lot out of the chunk. And so that is bound to happen. A country that hasn't got money, and then you have natural resource hidden deep in the sea that requires a capital intensive investment, you end up losing. So from where I sit, the little that we are getting, it's a matter of managing it very well.
All right, thank you so much, Professor Lord Mensah, for your input this very moment. We truly appreciate it, speaking to us on Business Live. Let's stay a while longer on the economy because the Institute of Economic Affairs is predicting an inflation of 15% in 2025. Well, this would be higher than the International Monetary Fund's forecast of 18% and the Bank of Ghana's target. More in this report.
In its bi-monthly economic outlook, the IEA said inflation should be reduced even further through stronger intervention measures. The year 2024 ended with inflation of 23.8%, slightly higher than the rate of 23% recorded in November. The end-year inflation was also higher than the 18% projected under the IMF-supported program. Throughout the year, inflation remained stuck in the low 20s, far above the Bank of Ghana's target of 18 plus or minus 2%. Under the IMF program, inflation is projected to drop to 18% in 2025. This would imply a drop of 15.8 percentage points from the 2024 rate. This drop, the IEA said, would however seem a bit optimistic given the poor historical record. It therefore alluded that a more likely outcome would be 15 to 17%.
It's one of our lead stories, utility and telecommunication on sectors called least in the 2025 Customer Service Index. The index, which is organized by the Institute of Customer Service Professionals, rates customer service delivery across key sectors in the country. The survey also revealed that Ghana dropped marginally to 72% in its 2024 customer service satisfaction score. More from Isaac Atasenyako.
According to the survey, EcoBank retained its position as the financial institution with high customer service ratings. Aqua Safari Resort topped the hospitality category. Efforts by the National Insurance Commission to improve customer service in the industry has started yielding results as the insurance sector experienced an improvement in its rankings. The survey, which is organized by the Institute of Customer Service Professionals, also revealed that customers valued trust as the most important customer service measure. Yvonne Ohui McCarthy, founder of the institute, shared some insights.
Transportation came tops. Transportation is usually amongst the lower six performers. Utilities, unfortunately, has always hovered around then. We would have hoped that they would have done better. Ghana scoring a 72%, which is a B, is not too good because last year was 73.9, and so it's a step down. We would want to see Ghana in A because we have an influx of people coming to Ghana every December or even throughout the year, and we shouldn't be at a B with the kind of investments that people are making.
The survey also disclosed that utility and telecommunication sectors scored the least in the rankings.
Utilities is at the bottom with 55%. It tells you, if you look at the three companies that were featured under utilities, ECG, Ghana Water Company Limited and Zoomlio, these companies clearly enjoy a monopoly. And so it tells us that the lack of competition is also making people a bit relaxed. You go into banking, you go into insurance, hospitality, the competition is fierce. Telcos has a very similar problem, even though they are not enjoying a monopoly. But you have one particular provider who has almost double or triple the subscribers of the others. And so it's almost like a monopoly. Yeah.
The Driver and Vehicle License Authority emerged as the public sector institution with the most impressive customer service experience.
Even though we're a public institution, we're a monopoly, we still recognize the fact that customers are very important. Sometimes our services that we render requires compliance from the public. If you make your services welcoming, if you make your environment welcoming, if the customer is key to what you do, it makes compliance easy.
Most respondents of the survey prefer doing business in person, despite an increase in the creation of chatbots and other digital customer service platforms.
You're still watching Business Live. We are back with the Joy Business Van shortly. It's going by What's the Joy Business Van. Now, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, has announced the appointment of Dr. Bernice Makafui-Brimpong as its new Chief Executive Officer. She succeeds Yofi Grant, who served in the role until December 30th, now 2024. Dr. Brimpong is a result-driven professional with a distinguished track record in business, development, healthcare, and strategic partnerships. She holds a Bachelor of Pharmacy from the University of Ghana School of Pharmacy, a Master of Science in Entrepreneurship from the University College of London, and a Doctor of Pharmacy from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Though trained as a pharmacist, Dr. Brimpong has established herself as an innovative business leader, founding and leading a portfolio of thriving companies across the pharmaceutical, healthcare, and commodity sectors, contributing significantly to Ghana's socio-economic development. Dr. Brimpong believes that the country's ability to attract health-related investments will be a key driver of sustainable economic growth. Upon her appointment, she expressed her commitment to working collaboratively with stakeholders to enhance Ghana's business environment and solidify the country's position as one of Africa's top investment destinations. And that's our part company here on Business Life with me, Pius Kojo Baka. We have more stories for you when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. There you go.